Live from the soccer complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, you're watching exclusive non-conference women's soccer action right here on CSI Sportsnet. This afternoon, the College of Staten Island will look to extend their unbeaten streak to 7 games to start the regular season, as they will face a very tough opponent today in Kean University. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Bibusky along with Tom Koskowski. And Tom, the Dolphins coming off of a 2-2 tie on the road in a conference battle against CCNY. Not exactly the result the Dolphins were looking for, and it's not going to get any easier this afternoon against the Kean University Cougars.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Mike. You know, against the Beavers of CCNY, that was a huge letdown for the Dolphins. They went into that game thinking, this game is ours, we're going to come out here with 3 points. Instead, they came out with only 1 point. Despite outshooting the Beavers 44-7 in that match and only putting 2 goals in.
Yeah, you know, Tom, it was a game of opportunities for the Dolphins. As you mentioned, they had such a distinct advantage in shots on goal, and they also had taken the lead both 1-0 and 2-1. But, you know, you got to give CCNY a lot of credit. They played very well in that game. They have a couple of very good new players on that team, and you know, really the biggest difference in the game was the goaltending, and really it was CCNY that got the really great goaltending in that game and were able to come and escape with a 2-2 tie.
That head coach really went out in this offseason and made it prevalent to make sure he picks up correct players that they were lacking last season to really invigorate their offense and defense to prevent goals as well as score goals during the regular season this year.
Yeah, Catherine Landkamp really did a great job for the Beavers in that game and came away with a hard-fought 2-2 tie. But, you know, you're looking at the start for the Dolphins here in 2017, Tom, still undefeated, 5-0-1. And, you know, that was only the first game that they gave up more than 1 goal. So they're still playing very well, and they're going to certainly have their hands full this afternoon against Kean University.
You know, when they played Kean last year, they only lost 1-0, and that was on a 1-0 fluke goal early on within the first 5 minutes of the game. You know, I really don't expect that to happen here today. This defense now has its second year under belt playing together, so really look for them to play out of the back and not allow many shots. Also in goal for the Dolphins, we have Mariah in there for the first time this year, so it's good. We're going to see what type of action she can give us in the back and between the pipes.
Yeah, so Kean University coming into today's game having won 4 in a row, but you know, Tom, as you mentioned, the Dolphins going to get a first-time starter in goal this afternoon from Myra Jones, and you know, really a big opportunity for the freshman as Kayla DiBenedetto will take the bench for the first time here in 2017.
Yeah, I really think Coach Giuseppe Panetti can afford to do this. His back line has been playing so well this year, only allowing, I think, 25 shots or less through these 6 games. So it's not like their goalies are getting much action. So if they can hold this Kean offense to under 10 shots this game, I think they'll fare pretty well and be able to come away with the win here.
Yeah, and you know, for the Dolphins, Tom, it's Lisbeth Aparicio who scored 3 goals in her last 2 games. All 3 of them with her head and all 3 of them off corner kicks.
Yeah, she only had 2 goals all of last season, so it's good to see her finally getting on the score sheet more often. Even though it is a little scary that our defender is having most of our goals so far this year, you really look for the forwards and your midfield to start putting this goal. But that's not to take away from her skill. She's finding herself in the right position on these corner kicks, on just finding the open room and putting him in the back of the net when her team needs it the most.
So we're about 5 minutes or so from the start of this afternoon's game, and for Mariah Jones, it's going to be her 3rd game played this year and her 2nd start of the season. So she has had some action this year. She's played very well and has yet to allow a goal.
Yeah, you know, we're going to keep an eye on the Kean's top goal scorer. We really don't want them to get allow her to get going. I really would like to see Catherine Mulligan on her all game today, so she doesn't get into open space and put one into the back of net early on. Yeah,
and you know, Caitlin Polito leading the Kean University in goals with 3 on the year, and Marchak and Jursak with a couple of goals apiece. You know, Kean has only scored 12 goals, Tom, in their 7 games so far, but they've only given up 8 goals against some pretty good competition, and as we mentioned, coming in red hot, having won their last 4 games in a row.
Absolutely. They're a solid squad. They know what they're doing. They have some experience on their team, and they're coming off a good NJAC conference win over Stockton that took 5 minutes into extra time to get the win.
Yeah, so the Dolphins really will have to come out and play a strong game here this afternoon, Tom, if they're going to have an opportunity to compete. And, you know, just taking a look, through the Dolphin lineup here quickly this afternoon. Susan Arsenia, one of the goal scorers in the game on Saturday, in the starting lineup here this afternoon. And so a couple of changes in the starting lineup for the Dolphins here in this afternoon's game.
Yeah, you mentioned Susan. She's real crucial on the outside. She has that speed that allows the Dolphins to send the long through ball and adds a dimension that the Dolphins previously didn't have.
And, you know, one of the players the Dolphins looking to get going is Lauren Smith this year, Tom, in 2017. And, you know, in that overtime period, she had a great opportunity at the goal, rocketed it off the crossbar, and it was a tough break because she played well, especially in the extra session. That was a big opportunity for the Dolphins to win on a golden goal, but unfortunately pounded off the crossbar.
Yeah, Lauren Smith is integral to this Dolphin offense. She controls the center of the pitch and really distributes the ball with those long balls. And look for her to go and cork one from 20 or 30 yards out. She's not afraid to do that. As we've seen, she put one in already this season from there.
And in goal, starting for Kean University this afternoon, will be Casey McDonald. McDonald coming in averaging just under a goal a game, and she started all 7 games for Kean this year, Tom, coming in with a record of 5-1. So, you know, Kean coming in, and we've seen them before. Tom, you mentioned these two teams playing each other last year out in Union, New Jersey, and you know, we know that they're going to come in a very deep squad, and you know, the Dolphins are going to have to come out here this afternoon and probably play their best soccer of the year.
Absolutely. Don't expect this to be a high-scoring affair. This is going to be tight soccer. It's going to need to maybe a mistake is going to be a goal. It's going to be a lapse in judgment or just a very nice goal. It's going to be very hard for both of these teams to find a goal this afternoon.
So, Tom, before we get underway, why don't we bring you the starting lineups for today's game? And here to bring you the starting lineups, my broadcast partner, Tom Kriskowski. Tom, take it away.
Starting in goal for the Kean Cougars is Casey McDonald. Number 2, Emily Yorchek. Number 3, Shannon Brown. Number 5, Bridget Parisi. Number 6, Caitlin Polito. Number 7, Sabrina Cerny. Number 10, Jordan Thuman. Number 18, Mallory Nordelus. Number 20, Meg Holleran. Number 21, Gabrielle Azari. And number 24, Vanessa Early.
Number 20, Megan Holleran.
Starting for the Dolphins, in goal, we have Mariah Jones. Number 2, Lauren Smith. Number 4, Stephanie Lapointe. Number 5, Rebecca Dialoya. Number 7, Victoria Sanchez. Number 10, Susan Aracena. Number 11, Nicole Mignon. Number 13, Lisbeth Aparicio. Number 16, Catherine Mulligan. Number 25, Caitlin Russo. And finally, number 28, Adriano Perello.
So the Dolphins and the CSI Soccer Complex as the Dolphins are about to get introduced. And, you know, to play in a
1-1 tie against CCNY. This team is made of, because the home for the rest of the season, especially in Houston.
And, you know, Tom, the men's team going out on the games and opponents.
Yeah, in the nation, as well as NYU. You know, they field a good squad, so look for those to be 2 very competitive games here at the CSI Soccer Complex.
So while we get ready for the national anthem, why don't we step aside and take a break here, and we'll have the national anthem and then the start of today's game.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
We're back, and we're just moments away from the start of this afternoon's game between the College of Staten Island and Kean University. The College of Staten Island coming into today's game remaining undefeated at 5-0-1. Kean University coming into this game playing very well, Tom, and for the Dolphins to extend their winning streak here this afternoon and possibly up their wins to 6 for the year. What are the keys for the game for the Dolphins this afternoon?
The key for the Dolphins is really going to be that back line and the midfield play. Lauren Smith and Stephanie LaPointe. Stephanie LaPointe leads the team currently with 3 assists on the year. They're really going to need to pick apart this Cougars defense. They have only allowed 8 goals per game, but I feel the Dolphins have enough power to find those holes and get them through to their forwards who can put it in the back of the net. Yeah,
it's going to be very interesting, Tom, to see how the Dolphins do today against a very good non-conference team, and especially to see how their confidence is after what can only be described as a surprising result against CCNY.
Yeah, I would look for them to rebound today. They know they didn't get the result they wanted against CCNY, so they're going to come out with extra motivation today to make sure they get the 3 points instead of just a 1 or none.
So Kean University still over by their bench, as are the Dolphins as they're huddling up. And, for the end of September, Tom, pretty hot weather day. Hurricane Jose kind of drifting a couple of 100 miles out into the ocean, but a beautiful day here for soccer on Staten Island.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been lucky this year. No cold weather so far through September. Remember 2 years ago where we had winter jackets on at this time and there was snow on the ground. So I'll accept this 80-plus degree weather and hurricane pushing off. Speaking of hurricanes, all well wishes to those in Puerto Rico affected by Hurricane Maria down there. Yeah, boy, it sounds like the power's completely out on that island, Tom, and, certainly our best wishes to all our friends down there, and hopefully the Dolphins will come out here this afternoon, Tom, and really come out and play a very strong game. And, one thing we noticed about this Kean University team, Tom, when we mentioned it during the pregame show, a lot of plays very deep, and Dolphins are really going to have to come out and expect a lot of physical challenges here this afternoon. Yeah, you keep mentioning that the Kean is very deep. I would go as far and say as we as the Dolphins also have a pretty deep bench. Coach Giuseppe Panetti is not afraid to throw freshmen in there and give them an opportunity. He's known for throwing players in to keep his players fresh so they don't get tired. So the Dolphins and Kean getting ready to get underway here this afternoon, and real strong wind blowing here this afternoon, Tom. It's really kind of blowing across the field from the left to the right, so it's going to be a big advantage attacking toward the right side, and it looks like the Dolphins will attack to that side during the first half, so Kean will have that advantage in half number 2. Yeah, the Dolphins, both teams are going to want to keep the ball on the ground today, because once you put it up in the air, it's at the mercy of the wind, and you don't want that. You really want to control the ball, so keep it on the ground. And if you're shooting with the wind at your back, you have to remember that you have to adjust your power so you don't kick it too hard over the goal or misjudge your pass. So the Cougars coming into the afternoon's game, playing very well, as we mentioned, having won their last 4 games and only allowing 2 goals in those 4 games as well. So it'll be the Dolphins and the Cougars here this afternoon as we're about ready to get underway. And Emily Yorchek will be at midfield. And we're underway as Yorchek will play the ball back. And it's the Dolphins and the Cougars here on this Wednesday afternoon. Dolphins play the ball in. They were looking to get the ball down towards Mignon, but it's going to be out of bounds. And Perello will come up to throw the ball in here this afternoon for the Dolphins. Perello getting the ball in as she tries to get the ball in the penalty area, but the Cougars there to knock it away, and now it's Perello playing the ball across, but Cougars there to knock the ball away, and LaPointe gets her first touch of the afternoon for the Dolphins. LaPointe rolling it down the far side. She was looking for Russo, but there you go, Tom. The ball goes right into that wind on that AstroTurf and rolls out of bounds. Yeah, absolutely. Not only does the AstroTurf already add speed to the ball, but with this wind, you're really going to have to take some off it. And as you saw there, she hit it just a little too strong as she's getting her first touch of the game. So now the Cougars look to bring the ball through the midfield for the first time this afternoon, and it's going to be played out of bounds, and the Cougars will have an opportunity to throw the ball in as
We're just underway here, just over a minute in. And the Cougars get it into Thuman. Thuman tries to turn and advance the ball towards goal, and we're going to have a whistle on our first foul of the afternoon, and that'll be on the Dolphins, Tom. And, you know, that's going to be in a position for Kean to get the ball right in the penalty area very early in the game.
Yeah, Kean is only about 20 yards out now. Look at for Norderloos to get ahead on this ball. She looks like one of the tallest players out on the pitch today. So
let's see what the Cougars are able to do here as they retrieve the ball, and the Dolphins will put 2 players on the wall. And the referee will move them back. And a good opportunity on a set piece early in the game for the Cougars here this afternoon. As they play that ball in towards the center, they were looking to get it towards Jurczyk, but she'll kind of shank the ball off her foot, and it'll be the first opportunity for a free kick for the Dolphins.
Yeah, it looked like Norderloos tried to swing that in near post, just mishit it a little bit and went too close.
So now it's Russo coming back on her defensive side of the field, but her pass is too far away, and it'll be Parisi to roll it forward. Parisi gets it over to Asari. Asari passing the ball across, and there it's Jurczyk trying to get a foot on it as Kean looking to put the ball into the penalty area, but it'll be Mulligan there to head it away for the Dolphins. Now the Dolphins looking to counterattack quickly as it's Sanchez looking to play the ball, and it's early going back defensively for the Cougars. It'll be knocked out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in opportunity for the Dolphins.
That was a great idea there by Lauren Smith. She picked her head up. She saw Sanchez running down the line wide open. She sent the ball over the top.
So it's going to be LaPointe now looking to get the ball in. It's going to be knocked out of bounds once again, and once again it'll be an opportunity for the Dolphins. And this time I believe it's going to be a corner kick awarded to the Dolphins. So a good break that time for the Dolphins and their first opportunity off a set piece here this afternoon, as it'll be Perillo to come over and take the corner. Adriano wraps it into the near post, and it was right onto the foot of Smith. And then she's able to get the ball back on the rebound. A lot of room there, Tom, but she blasts the ball over the crossbar.
Lisbeth Aparicio was right there on the first attempt. She just mishit that, which laid the ball up for Lauren Smith, who just hit it over the bar. But once again, Lisbeth Aparicio right in the correct spot where she needs to be on those corner kicks.
Yeah, big opportunity missed there by the Dolphins, Tom, to take a 1-0 lead. And the Cougars escape and now play the ball out onto the near side where Asari is there to play it. And the Dolphins will give away the throw-in here. So a big opportunity, the first real scoring chance of the afternoon, goes to the Dolphins, but Smith put the ball over the top. Mulligan fighting with Polito. And it's going to get knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a Cougar throw-in once again, as Vanessa Early will come over to take the throw-in for the Cougars. Early throwing the ball deep up the near sideline. She was looking to get the ball up over to Polito, but the Dolphins will be there to play it, and that time Mulligan is going to play the ball out of bounds and give away the throw-in to the Cougars. We're about 5 minutes into this first half, scoreless. As the Cougars with a nice throw-in right into the center of the penalty area, and the lawyer is there to head the ball away, but now it's going to be fed in close, and an opportunity is bounced off the crossbar, and we're going to have a whistle, and that's going to be ruled a goal on the play as that ball went in under the crossbar, Tom. I'm not sure who put it in, but we'll get a look at the replay, but Dolphins give the ball away. It costs them, and the Cougars lead by a score of 1-0.
And once again, Mike Kean gets the early goal that really didn't want the Dolphins to succeed.
So the Dolphins put the ball in play, trailing by a score 1-0, and a big turnaround, Tom, early in this game as the Dolphins had a big opportunity to take a 1-0 lead, but Smith could not get the ball on goal. But that time the Cougars able to take advantage of a Dolphin mistake and make it a 1-0 game.
Yeah, the Dolphins were really controlling the tempo of this game until that last play right there, where they were able to find a little chip ball over the top, where the shot looked like it creamed off the crossbar and out of play, but it went in.
See, that ball was headed forward, and it was really a beautiful play that time as that ball got passed forward over to Thuman, and the pass went headed in, and we'll see if we can get another opportunity to look at that. But it was a beautiful header into the box, and then a beautiful second header by Jordan Thuman. As the ball came to Thuman, she played it on a bounce. She headed it forward, and then it was put into the net, and we couldn't catch the number of the player that put it into the net, but boy, that sure looked like it hit a lot of crossbar, Tom, and not sure it actually went into the net.
And before that, if you saw that replay, it looked like she was offsides in the offsides position first, so I wouldn't even have counted that goal.
Yeah, that'll be a controversial play here, and hopefully we'll have a chance to look at it, especially during halftime, and see if we can get a little bit of a closer look at it. But nonetheless, the Cougars lead by a score, 1-0, and the Cougars were able to take advantage of some nice interior passing, and then take a 1-0 lead as the ball's going to be played, and it's going to go out of bounds. So it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. 7 minutes into this first half. So Perillo will throw the ball in. And it's going to be Parisi with the ball now for the Cougars. Parisi feeding it forward over to Polito. Polito looking to center the ball, but it's going to be knocked away by Aparicio and played back by Asari. Asari looking to get the ball forward. She was looking for Thuman, but the Dolphins are there to knock the ball away. And now it's going to be Sanchez with the ball for the Dolphins. Sanchez farming it out onto the far side over to LaPointe. She has some room, and now she rolls the ball forward. Sanchez losing possession of the ball, and Kean off the midfield turnover looking to turn, but a nice defensive play by the Dolphins to come away with the ball. Good idea that time by the Dolphins as they tried to get the ball into the box, but a nice defensive play by the Cougars. But Smith there to play the ball to the Dolphins, but her pass is a little bit too slow, and Parisi rolls the ball out for the Cougars. Now she'll forward it over to Polito. Polito looking to get past Mulligan. She gets a step on Mulligan, but her shot goes up over the crossbar.
The Cougars are finding a lot of success right now, Mike. Just those direct balls straight down the middle of the pitch. The Dolphins are going to have to shore up that defensive line that I spoke so highly about in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and that time Polito was able to use a bit of speed and really break past Mulligan on the play. But her shot went over the crossbar, so it'll be a free kick here for the Dolphins. Aparicio's free kick is going to be knocked away in midfield. Arsenia goes for the ball. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, but it will remain a throw-in for the Cougars.
Rebecca, if it goes over, switch quickly.
Early to throw the ball in.
If it goes over.
Early passing, looking for Thuman. It's going to be off her head and out of bounds. So possession will turn over here to the Dolphins. Dolphins to throw it in as Perillo throws it in once again. And it's going to be Smith with the ball for the Dolphins, looking for LaPointe. But it's going to be Parisi there to take the ball away. She looked to get, but the good defensive play by the Dolphins to cut the ball out. But Holleran to play the ball back for Cougars. Now look on the near sideline now by Early. Early up the center of the field over to Jurchak. Jurchak looking to go one-on-one against Aparicio. Jurchak looking to use her size, but a nice play by Aparicio to knock it away. And Aparicio will draw the foul. Very nice defensive play that time by Lisbeth Aparicio.
Yeah, she was really able to angle herself. Jurchak is the taller player here, but Aparicio was able to angle herself and make sure she won that ball.
So the Dolphins will get the free kick off of the Kean University foul. They trail by a score of 1-0 here as Aparicio plays it forward looking for LaPointe, but it'll be Azari to come away with the ball. Azari looking for Thuman, but the Dolphins there to knock it away, but Early volleys it back for the Cougars as Thuman looks to put it towards goal, but coming out of her net and playing the ball for the Dolphins will be Mariah Jones. Russo over to LaPointe. LaPointe in the center now to Smith. Smith now trying to get the ball over to Arsenia in some space. Susan trying to get it to an overlapping Sanchez, but stepping forward will be early to play the ball for the Cougars and play it up the near sideline. Knocked out of bounds, and it will be last touched by the Dolphins. And it'll be a throw-in for the Cougars as Early will come up to throw the ball in. Early getting it over to Yorchek, but it'll go out of bounds, and the Dolphins will throw it in once again. Perillo now gets it over to LaPointe in midfield. LaPointe has it knocked away by Brown, and it's going to be played back by Diola for the Dolphins. Dolphin pass is going to roll too far past Rousseau and out of bounds, so the Cougars will throw it in with 12 minutes remaining. And, Tom, since the Dolphins had that one opportunity at goal, Kean has done a pretty good job shutting down the Dolphin offense since they've taken a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, the Dolphins need to start getting control of this ball and really playing to their strengths. Right now, they're playing a 4-5-1 formation. They just keep blasting the ball up to Victoria Sanchez. She's made about 4 or 5 sprints down and hasn't even come up with the ball yet. So they need to start possessing the ball and creating out of the midfield and, put shorter passes so she can get it, make her feel comfortable on the ball instead of just sprinting. As
the Dolphins look to play it in the box, looking for Mignon, but it's going to be knocked away. And now it's going to be LaPointe playing it, but LaPointe's pass is going to be knocked away by Early back towards midfield, and it'll bounce out of bounds. So it'll be a throw-in once again here for the Dolphins. 1-0. Cougars in the lead as Perillo throws it in, looking for Smith, and Smith heads it forward, but it's going to be played up the near sideline once again by Early and out of bounds. A lot of throw-ins here, Tom, early in this game.
Yeah, you could make that a factor of the wind pushing the ball out of bounds. A lot of the balls being put in the air.
And we'll have another one right up the field as the Dolphins get about 15 yards in territory, and Perillo throws it in once again to Smith. Smith, a nice move around one Cougar defender, and it's going to be played back to her once again, over to LaPointe. LaPointe's pass is knocked away, but comes back onto the foot of Smith. Now LaPointe's just going to play it a little bit too hard and out of bounds, so it'll be a free kick opportunity for the Cougars.
Yeah, it looked like a little miscommunication there. Steph LaPointe, pointed to where she wanted to put that ball, and she placed it there, and nobody really ran onto that.
So a free kick opportunity here coming up for the Cougars, and it looks like Early will take the free kick. Just one shot on goal in the game, and that was a goal off of a couple of nice interior passes. And the Cougars lead 1-0 is now Smith looking for a little bit of space. Smith rolling it back to Arsenia. Susan playing it in toward the box, but it's going to be headed away. And the Cougars try to possession in midfield. And a nice long ball down looking for Parisi. Parisi with a little bit of speed. Actually, I believe that might have been your check. It was. But the Dolphins able to knock that rush away.
That was a good recovery there by Aparicio.
Dolphins knock the ball back down as Shannon Brown is back to play it for the Cougars as she'll farm it out onto the far side of the field, and the Cougars will look to build up their attack once again. But it will go out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in opportunity here for the Dolphins. And, Tom, we played about 15 minutes here of this first half. What are your impressions of the Dolphins here so far?
They're having their moments. Recently, ever since, we talked about them gaining control of the ball and playing the way they want to, they have done a much better job stringing these passes together, as you can see here. That's their first shot of the game on goal, so it's improving.
Yep, so an opportunity as the Dolphins get their first shot on goal, and Casey McDonald makes the first save of the afternoon. Cougars playing the ball in the midfield now as it's Polito. Polito looking to roll it forward, but Perillo is there to play it for the Dolphins, and she'll play it out of bounds up over to the near sideline. Early throwing the ball in, but her throw-in will go out of bounds, and it will be an opportunity for the Dolphins to throw the ball in.
The Dolphins really need to get one in this first half because as this game draws on, Kean scores more of their goals in the second half. Half of their goals have come in the second half this season.
As the Cougars fight for possession, Parisi knocking it up in the air, and Aparicio volleying it right back for the Dolphins. Thuman with the ball, loses possession momentarily. But now Aparicio with a chance to play it forward up over to Mignon. Mignon getting the Cougar turnover in midfield, and now the Dolphins looking to attack as LaPointe putting it through to Arsenia. But it rolls out of bounds, and it will be a free kick for the Cougars.
Yeah, Arsena really didn't know if she was going to get that ball or not. She hesitated on that run, but by the time she pulled up her run, LaPointe had played it already, so there was no way for her really to get that ball.
So a free kick opportunity for the Cougars as Early takes the free kick, and LaPointe's there to head it back for the Dolphins up over to Lauren Smith. Smith chipping it ahead, looking for Sanchez. He's able to get onto the ball as Early kind of played it a little sloppily, but couldn't maintain possession, and it'll be a free kick for the Cougars. Just under 28 minutes remaining here in this first half. And the Dolphins trail by a score of 1-0. Early to take the free kick. As she plays it right up the center of the field. LaPointe came forward and was able to knock the ball away up over to Smith. Smith looking to roll the ball forward. She was looking for Russo, and there to run onto the ball for the Dolphins that time, I believe, was Lauren Smith once again. And once again, she knocked it wide.
Yep. Lauren Smith has been the bright spot so far in this game. She just needs someone on the end of her passes to really get things going.
As we're going to have our first couple of substitutions here this afternoon for the Dolphins.
Replacing number 7, Victoria Sanchez.
So Kiki Nugent will come in for the Dolphins, and Natalia Sandor will come in as well. She'll replace Arsena and
Sanchez, Mike.
And Victoria Sanchez. So you mentioned, Tom, Sanchez with a couple of big, long sprints here this afternoon. So she'll get a little bit of a rest as the Dolphins try to find a way to turn up the pressure a little bit on this Cougar defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Give her a nice little rest and bring that speed in later in the game when that back line of the Cougars really starts to get tired.
So the Dolphins able to play the ball back as the Lawyer playing it forward, but the Cougars there to knock it away as Mulligan tried to chip it, and now it'll be Aparicio to knock it up to Mignon. Cougars able to knock it away once again, but now an opportunity, but the ball is going to be played away and out toward the far sideline. The Lawyer able to keep it in momentarily, but now the Cougars coming away with possession and feeding it up to Thuman. Cougars have done a nice job in midfield here this afternoon, Tom. They've really been able to kind of carry the ball up through. The Dolphins relying a little bit more on long passes.
Yeah, that's where the experience for the Cougars comes into play. Although the back line for the Dolphins, outside of that first goal they scored, have really held up to the task of, nullifying any attack the Cougars can bring up together.
So it'll be a free kick opportunity now for the Dolphins as the Lawyer will take it. Actually, I believe that might be Aparicio taking it for the Dolphins. As the ball's going to be played up to the midfield circle, and the Cougars will look to build up their attack once again through the midfield. Yorchek turning, looking to get the ball forward is dangerous play that time, but Mulligan able to get enough on it, Tom, to clear it over the near sideline.
Yeah, that was a dangerous play. She kicked it. She was on the right side of the field, kicked it all the way across the field to go out of bounds. Just play it to the near side, get it out. Don't risk putting it in the middle of the field.
So Early will throw the ball in, and she's able to get the ball up over to Polito. Polito looked and tried to turn, but she just knocks the ball out of bounds, and it will be a free kick opportunity for the Dolphins. And Aparicio taking the free kicks for the Dolphins, Tom, here this afternoon.
Yeah, with this goal kick, let's put a focal point on Kiki Nugent, who came into the game. She has more of a power style to the forward position, so maybe instead of kicking these long balls, Coach Giuseppe Panetti decided to change it up and, have the team pass it to Kiki Nugent where she can hold on to it and wait for the rest of the team to show up and distribute that way.
Yeah, so let's see how that works for the Dolphins here as we have 24 minutes, 10 seconds remaining here in the first half. And Azari looking to build up the attack now for the Cougars, getting it over to Polito. Polito looked to center the pass, but it's going to be knocked away and played in midfield by Mignon. But she shoved off the ball, that time by Nautilus. Early with the ball as the Cougars, a couple of nice passes looking to work it forward, but Mulligan chips it out of bounds, and it'll be the Cougars to throw it in, Tom, deep inside Dolphin territory.
One criticism I have for this back line, instead of just always looking to kick the ball out of bounds, just kick it up, try and possess the ball. You have the time. Look for your midfielders. Try and create, because by kicking it out, you're just giving the ball right back to the Cougars and nullifying any attack you can bring up.
So now it's Nugent getting it up over to Smith. Smith skies up high, a 50-50 ball, and it's going to be Thuman coming away with the ball for the Cougars. Thuman, a nice ball out onto the far side, looking to get the ball to Cerny. But a better defensive play by the Dolphins as they come away and look to get the ball up to LaPointe, but Holloran steps forward now for Kean. DeLoya now with a nice steal, and she gets the ball up into the center of the field, and now Mignon looking to get the ball to Nugent, but the pass way too far in front, and it'll be McDonald to play the ball for the Cougars.
Yeah, Mignon just got a little too excited there. She saw the opportunity there and kicked a little too hard. No real curl, inside curl on it. They put it in the path of Nugent.
So the Dolphins threaten, but the Cougars there to knock the ball away. As now they come back, and it's Thuman with the ball, feeding it up over to Polito. Polito rolling it forward, back to Thuman. Thuman, a nice move to get inside, and the shot. And a beautiful save that time by Mariah Jones is once again a big opportunity that time for Kean University. And Thuman just missed, making it a 2-0 game. Beautiful save that time by Mariah Jones.
Yeah, Jones came off her line confidently and made sure to tap that one over the crossbar.
So it'll be a corner kick opportunity here for Kean, their first corner kick of the afternoon, and it'll be that same Jordan Thuman, Tom, taking the corner here for the Cougars.
Yeah, watch for Nautilus on the top of the box making that streaking run in.
So they roll the ball right into the box, and they're able to chip it towards goal, and they give away a second corner. Boy, Tom, they just rolled the ball right through the whole penalty area, and the Dolphins forced to knock it out of bounds and give away a second corner.
Sometimes those low, hard kick corners can catch you off guard because you're expecting that ball to come in line drive in the air. But when it gets played on the ground and somebody dummies it, that's when you catch everyone off guard.
So now Thuman with a beautiful ball right towards the near post, and Jones drops it, and a golden opportunity and a great play that time by Rebecca DeLoya to knock that away at the last minute there, Tom.
Yeah, she was the absolute saver on that. That ball was destined to be in the back of the net, but she came up huge and made sure to kick it out and make sure it didn't go in the back of the net.
So the Dolphins knocked the ball out of bounds as Sandor can't keep it in play. And early playing the ball forward now to Polito. Polito fighting for possession, and she'll get called for the foul. So it'll be a free kick here for the Dolphins with 20 minutes, 42 seconds remaining here in this first half. As we get another look at that opportunity by Thuman and that great save by Mariah Jones, Tom, that keeps this a 1-0 game.
Yeah, that was an absolutely glorious save there to keep them, just one goal on the board instead of doubling it up at 2. But if you see on the sideline here, we have a trio of subs getting ready to come in for the Dolphins.
So the play moves back down onto the Cougar side of the field. And we'll see if so the Cougars will throw the ball in. And Perillo trying to keep the ball down on the Cougar side of the field as LaPointe challenges Thuman now as the ball's played to the near side where Smith is there to play it for the Dolphins. Perillo knocking it forward, but a nice defensive play that time by Nautilus to play it away for the Cougars as Russo goes back to retrieve and play it up over to Aparicio. Aparicio, a nice ball through to Sandor. Sandor running with a little bit of space, and she's able to knock it that time off of the Kean defender. A nice play that time by Sandor to get the Dolphins a corner kick.
Yeah, she let that ball take one too many bounces, which caught her off guard. It looked like she was getting ready to attack that ball and take it inside the box. But unfortunately, it took one too many bounces with this wind. Then she had to resort to just, crossing it in. Thankfully, it went out for a corner kick. So let's see if Elizabeth Aparicio or Lauren Smith can get a foot on this one, because we all know what happened during that last corner kick the Dolphins had.
So Brianna DiStefano will check into the game for the Dolphins. She will replace Adriana Perello as the Dolphins take the corner kick. A beautiful corner into the box. The ball bouncing around and headed into the net. A beautiful goal that time as the Dolphins are able to come forward and tie the game up. That was a beautiful header on the play that time. I believe that it was Hunter with the goal as Ashley Hunter headed that one in the net. The ball bounced around a couple of times, and Hunter was there, Tom, to tie this game at 1.
You want to talk about making an impact the second you get in the game. How about Ashley Hunter coming in the game in no longer than 30 seconds? She finds her way to put her head on the ball and put it into the back of the net, even this game up at 1 apiece.
So the Dolphins able to take advantage of a big corner kick opportunity. It was Natalia Sandor with that beautiful corner as we see the ball headed over to Hunter, and Hunter able to put it into the net. A beautiful goal that time by the Dolphins off the corner. And, Tom, they've really been living on those corner kicks their last few games.
Yeah, that's where they're making their paycheck. I mean, if that's what's working for you guys, keep it going. Try and get as many corner kicks as you can, because that's what you're really exploiting against teams. It doesn't matter how it goes in the back of the net. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just anything to get it back there, and that's what Ashley Hunter did there.
And, that's the first career goal for Ashley Hunter. And really a beautiful goal scored off the corner kick by the Dolphins as they're able to come back and tie this game up at 1. And here come the Cougars on the counterattack. Ball's going to be played back to Asari. Asari rolling the ball across. And now the Cougars will attempt to come up on the far side with Holleran. Holleran's pass forward is going to be knocked out of bounds by Hunter, so it will be a throw-in here for the Cougars. 17:40 remaining here in the first half. 1-1 the score on the first career goal for Ashley Hunter.
Yeah, I mentioned in the pregame show that Giuseppe Panetti likes to keep his team fresh by using these subs. And it showed right there. Ashley Hunter came in, 30 seconds later, she put it in the back of the net. And another pair of substitutes coming on now just to keep that offense going. You don't want your players getting tired out there. Meanwhile, Kean hasn't made any subs, so it's definitely going to be in favor of the Dolphins. And you can see it. They're starting to get more possession on the ball. With that Elizabeth Aparicio pass that set up the corner kick, I mean, the fresh legs are really showing up here today in this game.
As Brittany Bordstead and Daniela Zerpolo check into the game, Stephanie LaPointe goes up over to the bench for the Dolphins. And you're right, Tom. Dolphins getting in some fresh legs and, some really effective players. Bordstead played very well in the game against CCNY, picked up the assist on that corner kick goal the Dolphins got up from Aparicio for their first goal in that game. Is coming right back and just putting the ball wide that time on a big, quick counterattack that time is Kean, as I believe that's going to be Polito, who had the big opportunity, Tom, but just couldn't get the ball on net.
Absolutely. The Dolphins once again got lucky with that shot just going wide, but let's not take away from the defense there. I think it was D'Aloia who made that nice interception or knocker off play there.
Yeah, as we look at the replay here, is Polito coming forward and chipping it just wide past the near post as the Dolphins able to knock it out of bounds, as you mentioned, Tom. So it will be a corner kick opportunity here for the Cougars, but they waste that opportunity as the ball just goes right out of bounds.
The Cougars have had 3 corner kicks this afternoon and haven't made any opportunity worth their while on any of them, while the Dolphins have had 2 and almost have 2 goals off of both of them. Instead, they only have 1, but this game's tied up at 1-1, so that's all you need right now.
So Thuman knocks the ball out of bounds on the corner kick, and Aparicio takes the free kick for the Dolphins. Sandor over to Smith. Smith looking to chip the ball forward. Nugent going for the ball, and now Kiki able to come away with it. Zerpolo trying to work her way on goal. A lot of contact on the players. All 3 players go down, but coming away with the ball is McDonald. Good physical play that time by Zerpolo, and a nice play and goal by Casey McDowell.
Once again, the fresh legs almost made an impact there. She came on, she was feisty trying to get that ball and didn't give up that whole way. And, really made the goalkeeper come out and make a play to not allow a goal.
So McDonald makes the play, and now it's the Cougars trying to counterattack off the Dolphins' missed opportunity. Yorchek has the ball knocked away, and it's going to be played forward as Nugent's going to charge in against McDonald, but McDonald there to make the play on the ball for Kean. And Dolphins have really turned play around, Tom, in the last few minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely the insertion of the fresh legs, because as both teams were starting to wear down, you could see the Dolphins really start to get, feel their way into this game. But once the fresh legs came into the game, now it's been all Dolphins the whole time so far.
Smith over to Zappolo. Now Borstad. Borstad looking to get the ball back to Zappolo, but the ball once again is going to get caught up in that wind and roll out of bounds as the Cougars get ready for their first couple of substitutes here this afternoon.
Yeah, I believe the coach for Kean has seen what the subs for the Dolphins have did, maybe trying to make a change of his own, see if he can lift the play of his team now.
As Brittany Berth and Deanna Abdu will come into the game.
Brittany Berth enter the game.
And we'll see who they'll replace.
Number 3,
Shannon Brown will check out of the game along with Sabrina Cerny. So a couple of substitutions here for the Cougars as the clock continues to run. Just over 13:35 remaining here in the first half. 1-1 between the Dolphins and the Cougars. Aparicio just skying the ball up in the air and slowing down that Cougar attack, but the Cougars remain in possession as Berth look to play the ball forward, but it's going to be knocked away and played by Borstad. Borstad down the far sideline up over to Nugent. Nugent looking to work against Parisi. Nugent, a nice move to step inside Parisi, but Parisi makes a nice defensive recovery, and Hallahan is able to play it out onto the far sideline. Hunter looking to play it in front, but coming away with the ball will be Early now for the Cougars. Early. Nice ball up over to Azeri. Azeri flying down the near sideline, working against DiStefano, but the ball forced out of bounds. A nice play that time by DiStefano to get the free kick for the Dolphins.
Yeah, let's go back to that Dolphin attack. Kiki Nugent was able to put the ball between the defender's legs and really have an opportunity to cross that ball in. It came out to Ashley Hunter, and she just hit that ball and was not able to get it out wide to Lauren Smith.
So now it's going to be Polito with the ball. Polito feeding it forward up over to Thuman. Thuman shot on goal, but Jones is there to make the big save. And, Jones really came up big for the Dolphins, Tom, when the Cougars had a couple of opportunities maybe to tack on that second goal. And really that great save by Jones really opened the door for the Dolphins to come back and tie this game at 1.
Yeah, that save sparked up the Dolphins because at that point it was 1-0. And Kean really had the advantage. But once Jones made that save, that lit a fire on the Dolphins. Say, you know what? She's making these saves for us. Let's help her out by getting a goal of her own. And that's what the Dolphins exactly did. They came down and got the goal they needed to tie this game up.
Sandor fighting for possession with Early, but Early coming away with the ball and getting it up over to Asari. But a nice play by Mulligan to knock it away. But the ball will go out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins as DiStefano will throw the ball in. She gets it up over to Sandor. The ball's going to roll forward and be played up out of bounds over midfield, and it'll be a throw-in once again for the Dolphins. Kean with 4 shots on goal. The Dolphins credited with 2. Kean with 3 corner kicks to 1 for the Dolphins, but the game is even 1-1 as we have 11 minutes remaining here in the first half, and it's going to be Abdu playing the ball down the far sideline. Now Asari. Asari turning and getting the ball out of bounds. Last touch by DiStefano, so it will be a Cougar throw-in as Early will come over to throw the ball in.
Number 13, Sabrina Pasquarella enters the game for the Cougars. She replaces
as we have another substitution here for the Cougars, and the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and Early will come up to throw it in once again. Early over to Passarella. Passarella getting it across back to Early. She skies the ball all the way across the field. A good-looking attack that time. Good idea that time. They tried to angle the ball into Thuman. Nice play by Jones to come off her line and make the play on a very dangerous-looking play that time, Tom, by the Cougars.
She's playing with boatload of confidence in this game. That save early on really helped her out. And now she's coming off her line, really making sure to help her defense out by clearing the lines and picking up anything that's threatening.
Yeah, and, just like they got that last goal, Tom, it was a couple of quick passes in the box that nearly broke them free as they, really had a good idea what they wanted to do with that ball and, really took a good defensive play by Jones to make the play on the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned earlier that Kean is up 4-2 in shots. This is not known territory to them. Normally in the first half of games they've been outshot, but here in this game they're outshooting us 4-2. So look for the Dolphins to hopefully start rifling more shots toward goal.
Ball skied up in the air, looking to get the ball to Polito. Polito working against Di Stefano, and she wheels the ball out of bounds. So it'll be a free kick opportunity here for the Dolphins. And, Kean has really come back in the substitutions now as it's going to be Lexi Monroy to check into the game. And she's going to replace Caitlin Polito. And Polito, a very effective, very active first half, Tom, for the Cougars.
Yeah, she was getting going early, but the Dolphins were able to shut her down as Catherine Mulligan really locked her down in the beginning of this game. But now you have fresh legs up top. So the defense, the tired defense for the Dolphins is really going to need to stand strong this last 9 minutes of the game to make sure they don't get, a sloppy goal right before half.
As the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds. And Di Stefano will throw the ball in, looking to get the ball to Sandor. Sandor and Early battling once again. And the ball's going to be played up the near sideline over to Monroy. Borstead turning and wielding that ball towards goal, but gets up into the wind and rolls right out of bounds. So it's going to be a free kick opportunity here for the Cougars.
Number 10, Jordan Thuman for the Dolphins.
So Thuman will also check out of the game. Jordan Thuman, very effective for the Cougars, and also checking in for the Dolphins will be Kiara Meza Mendez, and she will replace Natalia Sandor.
Yeah, that's the third substitute on this right wing spot. So you can see that the Dolphins are really using their wings well because they're getting tired. They just really need to get more production from that spot.
The Cougars looking to attack, but instead it's DeLoya, or Menza Mendez, I should say, there to turn the ball away for the Dolphins. Hunter playing it down the far sideline, and Dolphins are looking to attack as now it's Borstead looking to feed it into the center of the field, but it's going to be knocked away by Early and roll all the way back to midfield. Aparicio playing it onto the far side of the field. Zapolo going for the ball, but coming away with it is Nautilus. Nautilus gets the ball onto the foot of Pascarella, and here come the Cougars looking to attack with speed down the far sideline. Yorchek turning it into the center of the field. Dolphins able to knock it away, but not clear. Early. A pass in the center is stolen away nicely by Borstead. Borstead trying to feed it up to Nugent. The ball's going to roll up into the wind and roll out of bounds. It's going to be last touch by the Cougars, so the Dolphins with an opportunity to throw it in. Hunter throwing the ball in for the Dolphins, looking for Nugent, but she's not able to keep it in play, and the Dolphins give away the free kick.
Yeah, absolutely. If Kiki was able to get their foot on that, she could have just chipped over the defender to a wide-open Meza Mendez, who was standing right on the PK spot. Meza Mendez, as you know, scored the game winner against Old Westbury in overtime the other day, so she has the potential to make impacts late in games.
Yeah, so Hunter heading away the free kick, and the Dolphins looking to counterattack here once again is Nugent working the ball back up over to Lawrence Smith. Smith's pass going to be stolen and knocked away as the Cougars with a dangerous pass but able to maintain possession. Early. This pass forward is going to be knocked away by Borstead, but she's not able to get enough on it, and Early able to step forward and knock the ball away. Passarella looking to work her way inside against Di Stefano. But Mulligan able to come over and knock the ball out of bounds and give away the throw-in with 5:10 remaining. Ball chipped towards goal. It was headed away by Aparicio, but right onto the foot of Sabrina Pascarella, Joe, who, Tom, I'm sorry, who got a good shot, but knocked it wide.
Yeah, that's that quick passing again by Kean. It keeps finding their way into the box there. Another shot was the result of it.
So a big opportunity that time. And the Dolphins able to escape as Hunter loses possession of the ball and Halloran steps forward to get it for the Cougars. Yorchek chipping it into the box. Knocked away by the Dolphins, but once again, they're not able to clear it away. As Kean's starting to put a little bit of pressure on here, Joe, with under 4 minutes and 15 seconds in the first half. I'm sorry, Tom.
It's all right, Mike.
Throw in here for the Cougars. As the Dolphins able to knock it out of bounds. That was Zappolo. But that time the Dolphins are going to give away a corner kick, and that was a little bit too easy, to, Tom, on the corner.
Yeah, it was. You can play that ball out more. She had time, but the Dolphins' defense has played well against corner kicks. So look for that to happen again here.
So that heads out towards the far post. Jones comes way off her line and is able to punch the ball away. As the Dolphins will look to counterattack. Hunter getting the ball up. She was looking for Nugent, but the ball's going to be knocked away and played once again by the Cougars. Parisi skying the ball up high. Coming over to play the ball is DiStefano for the Dolphins. DiStefano's pass up the near sideline is Mendez is going to be knocked down from behind that time by Early, and it'll be a free kick opportunity here for the Dolphins as Aparicio will take the free kick. 1-1 the score, 2 minutes, 52 seconds remaining here in the first half. Aparicio. Pascarella there to knock the ball away for the Cougars. Play the ball all the way out down the far sideline where Yorchek is there to play it, but she can't keep it in bounds. And it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. Aparicio throwing the ball in, looking for Borstad. But the Cougars once again able to come away with possession as it's Monroy with the ball. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch this time by the Cougars, so it'll be Dolphin ball. And Dolphins are starting to lose those 50-50 balls, as you can hear the head coach, Giuseppe Panetti, possibly say over our air. And Kean really starting to possess, but now the Dolphins trying to counterattack as they look to get the ball to Mendez, but the pass too far ahead. And Casey McDonald there to play it for the Cougars. Now it's Early. Early, streaky past Smith, but a nice defensive play by Smith to come back and knock the ball away and slow down that Cougar attack. DiStefano gets away with a little bit of a push in the back and comes away with the ball for the Dolphins. But a nice job of stealing the ball as the Cougars getting the ball in the box, and running right onto it is Pascarella. And she's able to put it into the net. And the Dolphins now trail by a score of 2-1. And, you know, that time just too much carelessness in the penalty area, Joe, for the Dolphins. Tom?
Yes, that'll absolutely change halftime talks there. You know, it was just messy play by the defenders. They let that ball bounce around too much in that box, and Mariah came off her line a little too late, which allowed the Cougars to just get a shot on goal and put it in the back of the net.
So Sabrina Pascarella gets credit for the goal. And, you know, Tom, you could see trouble brewing on the play all the time. And, you know, that's been a couple of times here in the first half where the ball is bouncing around in the Dolphin penalty area. And that time the Cougars made them pay for it.
Yeah, the Dolphins just really need to start cleaning up that ball on the back line. They just need to get it out instead of, you know, letting it bounce. It looks like they were talking to each other. No, you take it, you take it. One person just needs to step up and just clear that ball out of the box instead of allowing it to bounce
As we have
around.
an opportunity to take a look at the replay as the ball bounces onto the foot of Pascarella, and she's able to drive it into the net. And, you know, Joe, the cardinal sin is ever letting the ball bounce in your own penalty area.
Yeah, that is one thing I know for a fact coaches teach as a former soccer player myself, you don't want, if a ball bounces in that box, you've already failed. You want that ball out of there the second it comes into the box in the air. But if it hits the ground, you better clear it out and better not let the other team get the ball.
So the Cougars trying to press forward here with 15 seconds remaining here in the first half as the ball is headed toward the box, and this time Jones is able to come off of her line and play it as the clock winds down, and we're going to go into halftime, Tom, with the Dolphins trailing by a score of 2-1. And, you know, Tom, as the half wound down there, you could see the Cougars starting to get possession, starting to push forward a little bit, and then Dolphins make that one mistake in the penalty area, and it leads to the second Cougar goal.
Yeah, that's definitely not the way head coach or the Giuseppe Panetti or the Dolphins really wanted to end that first half. They were playing well. They had momentum. And to allow a silly goal like that, that's where it's just bouncing around your own box, is inexcusable. You really have to do a better job of getting that ball out of there, because this game could easily be 1-1 or even 2-1 in favor of the Dolphins had the Dolphins put away that first corner kick. So let's see what adjustments head coach Giuseppe Panetti makes here in this going into the second half to see what the Dolphins can do.
So it looks like we're only going to have a 10-minute halftime intermission here, so we're going to get ready to step aside. We'll take a break for about 5 minutes or so and get you ready for the start of the second half. The Dolphins trailing the Cougars here by a score of 2-1 as we're at halftime, and you're watching women's soccer coverage right here on your voice of CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
One-on-One is an independently owned and operated physical therapy center since 1999.
One-on-One has multiple offices located in Staten Island and in Brooklyn.
One-on-One has been getting people back to living pain-free for almost 14 years.
The number one goal of One-on-One is to provide quality health care for our community and continue to strive to be the best in our field.
One-on-One physical therapy gets our clients back to work, back to play, and back to function as soon as possible. We help them reclaim their life.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
We're back here at halftime where the College of Staten Island trails Kean University by a score of 2-1 as Kean University able to take advantage of a late goal by Sabrina Passarella to give the Cougars a 2-1 lead going into halftime. And, you know, Joe, the Dolphins played well. Tom, the Dolphins played so well in that first half, and to allow a late goal, really a little bit of a challenge for the Dolphins, and something, Tom, they're going to have to deal with at halftime and really bounce back, trailing now by a score of 2-1.
Yeah, absolutely. It's disappointing to let that late goal go in because the Dolphins were playing so well. They had a control of the ball. They were outplaying Kean in the pitch for, you know, more than a half of that first half there. So to have that momentum be deflated out of you with that late goal, it's really going to add a nice dynamic to how the Dolphins are going to come out and see how they rebound from that late goal. And looking at some of those halftime statistics, the Cougars out shooting the Dolphins with shots on goal 5-2. Myra Jones has 3 saves to only 1 for McDonald for the Cougars. Cougars out corner kicking the Dolphins 4-2, and they committed 4 fouls to 2 for the Dolphins. But, you know, you mentioned it a little bit before, Tom. The Dolphins fell behind by a score 1-0. It was Sabrina Cerny on the nice assist from Mallory Nautilus. That knocked the ball in off the crossbar. It was a very close goal, Tom, on the play. It looked like it certainly hit a lot of crossbar. The referee right there confidently asserting it a goal. And then Ashley Hunter able to come back in the 27th minute
on a header, ruled unassisted, but it was really a nice corner kick by Natalia Sandor. The ball bounced off of Aparicio, I believe, on the play and went over to Hunter to tie up the game, but it was Passarella with the big goal off the assist from Monroy that gives the Cougars a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, hopefully the Dolphins' back line really doesn't dwell on that late goal too much, because when you dwell on a goal too much, it's going to be in the back of your head. I don't want to make that mistake again. But as an athlete, you just got to have a short-term memory. Get rid of that. Forget that. That didn't even happen. Let's come out to this game, the second half. It's a new half. It's 0-0. Let's just try and put another goal in, even it up, and start gaining momentum there. We really were doing a good job possessing the ball and creating attacks for ourselves. Let's keep that up and get it going in the second half. Start off the second half on the right foot and not down 3-1. Let's not allow an early goal.
Yeah, so the Dolphins now trailing by a score of 2-1, and we mentioned earlier, Tom, that the wind blowing pretty heavily here this afternoon, as it has a habit to do here at the CSI Soccer Complex, and blowing pretty heavily from left to right, and the wind will be at the back of the Cougars here in the second half.
Yeah, maybe this half, I believe it'll help the Dolphins. As you saw in this first half, all of their passes were too strong. On the ground, in the air, it didn't matter. The passes were not finding their marks. Maybe here in the second half, with the wind coming against them, the ball will slow down a little bit, and the balls will start to find their marks, leading to more chances for the Dolphins. As you can see, we only had 5 total shots in the first half.
And, Tom, you look at the CSI Dolphin team, and they only allowed 1 goal in their first 5 games, and they've allowed 4 goals here, Tom, in their last game and a half. So there have been a few issues defensively coming up for this Dolphin team.
Yep. I don't understand what's changed from the first couple of games. They were playing well. They're still playing well. It just seems you need to shore up a little bit of the communication things. Someone in that back line needs to step up and say, I'm getting this ball. I'm not allowing it to bounce in this box. We're not allowing any more of those goals. And that person needs to be Catherine Mulligan. She is the senior leadership in that back line. She needs to take control and really shore up that back line.
So we have 45 minutes remaining here in this second half as we're about to get underway. The Dolphins with the first touch as LaPointe will roll the ball back up over to Di Stefano. Caitlin Russo now getting the ball back up over to Sanchez. So Sanchez back in the starting lineup for the Dolphins here in the second half. Cougars quickly looking to attack here in the second half as Di Stefano plays the ball forward. And now Claire Lewis, who just checked into the game here for the Cougars, heads it forward, and Jones is there to play it for the Dolphins.
Yeah, that was a nice little cheeky backheel pass right there. It caught the Dolphins' backline off guard. Also, unfortunately, also caught her own player off guard. She was not expecting that type of pass.
As the ball played forward up into the center of the field, and the Dolphins' Mignon able to come forward and play the ball for the Dolphins. And now it's Sanchez. Sanchez chipping it out onto the far side of the field. And the ball is going to roll out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in here for the Cougars.
Let's see if the midfield of the Dolphins can get Sanchez more involved in this first half. She is faster than that back four for the Cougars, as you saw in the first half, but the ball was just overshooting her a bunch of bits. So let's see if she can really get on the end of those passes.
Dolphins with the turnover in midfield now, as it's going to be LaPointe. LaPointe playing in on the near side. She's looking for Russo breaking in. But a nice defensive play by the Cougars, and it's Houston playing the ball forward now for the Cougars. A lot of new substitutions and new players, Joe, here, Tom, I'm sorry, here in this second half for Kean University.
Yeah, maybe the coach sees that they have the lead, so want to try and really get some new faces in there, put some fresh legs on, give his players some rest, and then bring in his starters towards the end of this game if they really need some help.
Mignon playing the ball forward, and now it's going to be Borstad. Now it's LaPointe. LaPointe rolling it out onto the far side of the field. Asena plays it forward, but the pass is going to be stolen away by the Cougars, and the Cougars going to look to counterattack quickly. Ball chipped into the center of the penalty area, but a nice defensive play by Aparicio to roll the ball forward. And it's going to be played by Berth, who plays it all the way across to the near side of the field where it'll roll out of bounds. And it will be a free kick opportunity here for the Dolphins.
Aparicio has done a very good job on these goal kicks, finding her teammates open within the midfield here. So let's see if she can get something going where she can find her teammate and they can hold on to the ball instead of just kicking it forward.
So it'll be Aparicio to play it forward, but playing it into this wind is going to be very challenging. On the free kicks for the Dolphins from their goal line is Mignon going for the possession of the ball, but Berth coming over to knock it away for the Cougars as they regain possession in midfield. Pass forward is going to be knocked away by Mulligan and played forward, as now it's Borstad looking to get the ball forward, but nothing but blue in the back. And the Cougars able to play the ball away out onto the near side of the field. Holleran rolling it up to Houston. Houston playing it into the center, but it's going to be knocked away by Borstad, but played forward by Lewis for the Cougars. Monroy heading the ball forward, but the Dolphins able to play it out up over to Sanchez. Sanchez, a nice pass all the way across the field. And now it's going to be Senya. Now Sanchez with some speed as she charges in. And a beautiful play that time by O'Donnell as she comes up with the ball. Nice opportunity for the Dolphins and a good play and goal for Kean.
Absolutely. It all started with Sanchez here in the midfield. She won that ball and crossed it across the field to Aracena, who was able to then play that through ball back to Sanchez, who made a sprint from the midfield line all the way to the goal mouth, where the goalie McDonald came out and made a great stop.
Jones with the free kick, but it doesn't travel far. The Cougars able to steal, and that's going to force the Dolphins to play the ball out of bounds up over the near sideline. And, you know, Joe, Tom, we've already seen here in this first half that the Dolphins are really going to struggle with their free kicks from their defensive side of the field. And here comes the Cougars once again with an opportunity right in front, as that time Malchak has a shot towards goal that's going to roll out of bounds. Cougars came very close that time as Malchak nearly made it a 3-1 Cougar lead.
The Dolphins got lucky there. She was off balance and she took that shot to put that wide. Otherwise, this game easily could have been 3-1 in favor of the Cougars.
Dolphins playing the ball forward, but once again, only blue jerseys in the back. Nice play by Borstad to come away with possession of the ball. And then now a nice overlapping ball to Russo. Russo, a nice move inside of one Cougar defender, but the crossing pass is going to be knocked away and played back by the Cougars. Arsenia looking to play the ball forward, but the Cougars able to come away with it and knock the ball up the center of the field, where it's going to be played up in the air and knocked away by Aparicio. Mulligan fighting for possession, but it's going to be Monroy coming away with it momentarily and knocked up the near side, the far sideline up over to LaPointe. Dolphins looking for Sanchez, but once again it's going to be played away as LaPointe plays it for the Dolphins up over to Mignon. Mignon with a little bit of space, but charging in and centering, and McDonald there to make the save. Nice play that time by Mignon and a better play in goal by McDonald.
Yeah, the Dolphins are really showing some promise here. They're just getting those runs along the outside, able to get these crosses in. They just got to find a willing head on the end of it to even this game up.
Borstad, Mulligan playing it up over to Russo. Now to Borstad as she looks to play the ball up to Russo, but Parisi's there to knock it out of bounds for the Cougars. As we see a replay of that opportunity for the Dolphins, and McDonald there to make the play once again. Ball's going to be played up forward now as Di Stefano tries to step up and play it, but instead it's going to be played beautifully by Houston. Houston with a lot of space. Houston feeding it over now to a wide open Passarella. Passarella rolls it in and puts it in the net once again. And now the Cougars are going to take a 3-1 lead, as I believe that's going to be Dengel, I think, Tom, with the goal for the Cougars.
Yeah, that was just a counterattack that left the Dolphins' back line outnumbered there. It was a 3-on-2 there, and numbers just won out there. There was a nice pass out wide. Jones came out off her line, try and cut off cut off that shot attempt and just whiffed, which allowed the goal scorer to just easily tap it in far post.
As we see the replay here, as Passarella comes all the way in and is able to roll it across and put it in the net and give the Cougars a 3-1 lead.
Goal scored in the 53rd minute.
As we get the official scoring, it is Passarella who checked into the game late, Tom, and has already picked up 2 goals, and now another big shot on goal, and Myra Jones is forced to come out and make a good save on the ball. So the Dolphins came out strong here in the second half, Tom. They got a couple of opportunities. The Cougars able to get a couple of good plays in goal and then take advantage of that quick counterattack to open up a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, counterattacks are deadly sometimes, especially if they're not in your favor, and it showed there. Dolphins were just outnumbered, and they paid dearly for it.
As Russo fighting for possession with Holloran, it'll go out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins. But first we're going to have a couple of substitutions.
Number 2, Lawrence
as
Smith.
Lawrence Smith will check in. Rebecca Deloya will check in, and checking out will be Brittany Borstad and Lisbeth Aparicio. So a couple of early substitutions here in the second half for the Dolphins, who find themselves trailing by 2 goals for the first time here this afternoon, Tom. And, you know, for the Dolphins, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, they only allowed 1 goal in their first 5 games, Tom, and they've allowed 5 goals last game and a half.
Yeah, this was going to be the true test. And they're still to get better throughout the year if they want to push, make a deep run into the NCAA. Should they make it there? Also, with Lawrence Smith coming onto the pitch here, she's that offense really missing here in the second. So to really make some impact.
So the Dolphins 2-goal deficit. Be knocked out of bounds. It will be a throw-in.
You had the momentum going again, and it was just drained from you. Like we said during the halftime show, you know, early on, and that's exactly, especially
time as LaPointe's pass is stopped. Austin's pass is looking for me is Abdu. Ball away. Sidelines where the Cougars look to build the attack up once again. And once again, they play the ball forward to Passarella. Passarella rolling the ball forward, but Mulligan there to chip it up, but not out. As Berth is there to play it. And Russo comes back for the Dolphins to knock it up the near sideline. Nice play that time by Holleran to get the ball up to Houston. And a nice shot towards goal, and Jones forced to make the play as Monroy was charging in toward the far post. Cougars up to 8 shots on goal to just 2 for the Dolphins, and the Cougars lead here by a score of 3-1. Holleran with the ball. Holleran feeding it in up over to Malchak. She rolls it forward, and it's going to be Houston, but the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds. But it will remain in possession of the Cougars as the Dolphins get ready for another couple of substitutes here in the second half.
One of those substitutes being Ashley Hunter. You know, she made an instant impact last time she came in the first half. Let's see if she can do it again.
Houston playing the ball into the penalty area. Mignon there to knock it away, and now it's LaPointe. LaPointe's pass is behind Russo, and it's going to be played onto the foot of Berth and then knocked towards goal, but wide of the near post. So it'll be a free kick for the Dolphins. But it's the Cougars who continue to put pressure on the Dolphins here in the second half.
Yeah, the Dolphins are going to need to spark something in their team to really get going again. You know, they had the wind sucked out of their sails there for a moment, but this game is not out of reach. There's still 32 minutes left. They're down to, they can just easily find 2 more goals to even the score up, as they did in the first half. They only needed 1, but I believe they have the skill here to put 2 more in to tie it up.
So it's going to be a free kick opportunity coming. It as early now feeds it forward of Holleran. Holleran's pass.
Yeah, the Dolphins really need to get back the style of play that was winning them. Kick and run style, where instead of the style they like to play, which is possess and move the ball, they're not.
Every time light blue jerseys for the Cougars.
Out of the field, whereas you're
up in the mid. Acapina. Ches. Out of bounds here for the Cougars as Holloman and Jones forced to come off our line and scoop up the ball quickly. And Cougars have done that a couple of times today, Tom, really turning defense into offense and really breaking into that penalty area very quickly.
Yeah, the back four for the Dolphins has not been their strongest this afternoon. I mean, over the past 2 games, like you mentioned earlier, this is the 5th goal they've allowed in just the 2 games. So something needs to change back there, or they need to really just find their form again to make sure this doesn't happen moving forward.
Mulligan chipping it forward. Berth there to play it for the Cougars and roll to the near side where Hunter skies it up to field for the Dolphins. Ball's going to be played back now by Lauren. For the Dolphins. And Tom, it feels like a long time since the Dolphins have been attacking inside the Cougar penalty area.
Yep. In the first half, they had all these fresh legs coming in. They were able to move the ball within the midfield. Here, they just can't seem to find the ball. It's anytime they get it, it's just right to a blue shirt of the Cougars, and they're unable to retain possession. Whereas the Cougars are getting the ball, they're moving it in their back line here, and then they're moving forward as a team. They're creating, whereas the Dolphins are just kicking and hoping for the best.
So it's going to be Abdu to play it forward for the Cougars, and now Berth with a nice ball toward the penalty area, but that one will get caught up in the wind, and Jones there to play it for the Dolphins. Inside of 29 minutes remaining here in the game, the Dolphins trail by a score of 3-1. As the Dolphins trying to attack down the far sideline, but the ball's going to roll toward the sidelines and out of bounds, so it'll be a free kick opportunity here for the Cougars. And Tom, you can't overstate the importance of that late goal by Sabrina Passarella in that first half that turned this 1-1 tie into a 2-1 Cougar lead.
Absolutely. The momentum was fully in the Dolphins' favor, and to allow that ball to bounce around and allow that late first half goal, like I've said plenty of times this broadcast, it's just really draining to have that happen to you, especially when everything is going your way, and then to have it happen again at the start of the second half, it's really demoralizing, and it's hard sometimes to go back out there and really put a team out there that's going to want to force this goal.
Passarella losing possession of the ball, and now it's Mignon playing it forward as the Dolphins looking to attack here for the first time in a couple of minutes. But a nice defensive play by the Cougars is now it's Smith playing it forward. She was looking for Mignon, but the Cougars able to play it away once again, as that's Acapina playing the ball for the Dolphins. Dolphins pass is knocked away, but once again it's Smith coming over to get the ball for the Dolphins and roll it up the near sideline, the far sideline. Nice move inside that time, but the ball's going to be knocked away and skied up toward the center of the penalty area. Nice defensive play by the Cougars to knock it away. LaPointe drives that one towards goal, but it's going to be knocked away and played now by DeLoya. DeLoya looking to break her way inside as she collides with a Cougar, and Hunter now trying to challenge towards goal, but the ball's going to be knocked up in the air and played away by the Cougars. That was Meg Holloran who got shaken up on the play for the Cougars, but the Dolphins continue to attack now as it's Smith. Smith, a big ball in the box, looking for a couple of Dolphins charging in, but no Dolphin can get there before O'Donnell makes the play for the Cougars.
Yeah, that's the real, offensive momentum the Dolphins have shown here in the second half. Ashley Hunter, if she read that play right there, could have had an easy second goal there. She had the angle, she had everything, and McDonald was late coming off that line, so she would have had a great opportunity to head that right past McDonald.
So the Cougars play that ball down up the near sideline, And now it's going to be played away by DiStefano. And that's going to be knocked out of bounds. So DeLoya will come over to throw it in here for the Dolphins. DeLoya. Throw-in is going to be stolen and knocked away by Monroy. Monroy getting it up over to Houston. Houston trying to charge inside that time against DeLoya, but a nice defensive play by DeLoya to knock that ball away. Smith in the midfield with a little bit of space. Smith tried to work the ball down the far sideline, but the Cougars once again there to knock the ball away and play it forward to Passarella. Passarella looking to get the ball to Monroy, but that time Jones gets there just in time, Tom, for the Cougars.
Yeah, she was playing a dangerous game there, Mike. She almost didn't get that ball.
As the Dolphins give possession away and the Cougars chipping it into the penalty area once again, DeLoya gets a foot on it and plays it out in midfield to Sanchez. Sanchez loses possession. That's going to bounce towards goal. Jones there to make the play once again. And once again, it's Lexi Monroy right on top of her, Tom, for the Cougars.
Yeah, Monroy has been in all the right spots here in the second half. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cougars score again. She'd be the recipient of that goal. But, you know, the Dolphins need to start keying in on her.
Berth looking to play the ball forward. It's Monroy once again. And now it's DeLoya coming away in a nice play by DeLoya to get it out to Smith. Now it's Hunter. Hunter up over to LaPointe. Dolphins stringing together a series of passes and now looking to get it up to Sanchez. But coming over and making the play nicely for the Cougars is going to be Dina Abdu to knock it out of bounds. Nice play that time by Abdu to break up the Dolphin attack.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, the Dolphins seem to have something going here offensively, and it was just quelled by Abdu.
DiStefano. Now Lauren Smith. Smith rolling it out onto the far sideline, but Passarella coming back and making a nice defensive play for the Cougars. Maychek rolling it all the way down the far sideline. Cougars coming in with speed. The centering pass, and Jones there to make the play for the Dolphins. So the Dolphins pressing forward. Tom, the Cougars looking to counterattack quickly, and that time Jones there to make the play.
Yeah, Jones was in the right spot to protect that cross coming in for the Dolphins. And her confidence from the first half seems to have dissipated a little bit. You know, coming out to catch those balls, she's dropping them a little bit more, whereas the first half she was, you know, coming out with the confidence, punching it and catching it. Now, with these 3 goals in on her, she's being a little bit more cautious coming out.
As the Dolphins play the ball up the far sideline, but out of bounds. So it's going to be a throw-in here for the Cougars. As they're holding on to a 3-1 lead. Cougars scored first and took a 1-0 lead on Sabrina Cerny's goal. Hunter came back to tie it up for the Dolphins. But Sabrina Passarella with a goal late in the first half and early in the second half have given the Cougars a 3-1 lead. As that chip toward the Dolphin goal line will roll harmlessly out of bounds, and the Dolphins will have a free kick as the clock continues to roll with 23 minutes remaining in the game. And, you know, Tom, if you're the Cougars now, you really want to just slow everything down and kind of take the air out of the ball a little bit the best you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if they start playing more possession, you know, making sure not to give the ball away, maybe not always go right towards goal, but just to waste some time. But when you're down like this, for the Dolphins, it seems like the time is moving at double speed, and that's definitely how they're seeing it right now.
As the Cougars lose possession, but the Dolphins can't take advantage, as it's now going to be Sandor on the far side of the field, up over to Smith. Smith chipping the ball forward, but it's going to be knocked away and played away defensively that time by Abdu. And the ball's going to get worked up over to Early, as Early's going to chip it down. Looking once again for a charging Monroy, but once again, Jones off her line to make the play on the ball. Jones with the free kick. A line drive kick, and it's going to be headed away and played forward, that time by Lewis, up over to Houston. Houston trying to work around DeLoya. Houston staying with possession. Houston looking to chip it forward. But Mulligan is there to sweep it away for the Dolphins. And now it's going to be LaPointe. LaPointe has the ball knocked away by Holleran. Dolphins look to chip it into the center of the field, but Abdu is there to play it for the Cougars. Parisi skying it up. DiStefano heading it away, but it's going to be played by Maychak. Maychak rolling it forward. Going to be chipped toward the goal by Houston. Knocked away by the Dolphin defense, and Mignon's going to come back to play it for the Dolphins. Rolling it up now, up over to LaPointe. And losing possession now to Houston. Now coming in towards goal once again. And once again knocking the ball away. It's going to be played back now to Houston. In some space and chipped towards goal and in. And I believe that's going to be Kendall Maychak with the goal to give Kean a 4-1 lead. As once again, Tom, Dolphins a little shaky in the penalty area. And I believe that was Maychak that was able to chip it into the goal.
Yeah, once again, there was just a miscue, it looked like. Ball bounced in the box, which is a no-no, and it bounced right to a wide-open Kean player, Maychak, I believe, like you said, and she was able to just, drill it right over Jones's head for the 4th goal of the game. Unfortunate for the Dolphins.
Yeah, so the Dolphins came back and tied this game up. They've given up 3 consecutive goals as we have an opportunity to take a look at the replay, hopefully here in a minute. So a couple of substitutions here as Kean has broken this one open, leading by a score of 4-1. And, Tom, if you're the Dolphins here, you want to just try to get the next goal.
Absolutely. You just want to try and make it respectable. Just put one in. Give yourself some confidence going forward.
As we have an opportunity to look at the replay, and, once again, when you get the ball in the center of the box like that with a little bit of space, a nice play that time by Maychak. She didn't make any mistake as she put the ball in the net to give the Cougars a 4-1 lead. So Passarella picks up her first 2 goals of the year.
Was scored in the 70th minute by number 15, Kendall Maychak.
Maychak getting her 3rd goal of the year, so that ties the for the team lead. So Passarella with a couple of goals here, her first 2 of the year, Tom. And then that big goal by Maychak, her 3rd of the year, break this game open and give the Cougars a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, the Cougars have just been very efficient here this afternoon. When they get their opportunities, they're making sure they bury it.
So the Dolphins trail here by a score of 4-1, certainly in danger of seeing their 6-game streak coming to an end here this afternoon. As we're going to have a substitution as Menza Mendez is going to check into the game here for the Dolphins as the Dolphins look for a little bit of offense, and Natalia Sandor will check out for the Dolphins. Tom, we should mention while we have a minute, the men's soccer team red hot, undefeated in their last 6 games since dropping the home season opener against Wisconsin-Platteville will be in action tonight at Aviator Field in Brooklyn against York College at 6:30, and then they'll be back in action this Saturday against Medgar Evers. So an opportunity for the Dolphins to build on their 1-0 conference record as they had their way with CCNY here last Saturday by a score of 4-0. Men's team, Tom, really playing great soccer.
Yeah, absolutely. You could. I believe you and I actually called that Wisconsin-Platteville game, and you can tell that they were just feeling each other out as a team. They were really finding the odds and ends and who plays where and who does what well. Because after that game, that 2-0 loss, they woke up and have played very well every game since then, not allowing many goals and staying unbeaten. So I think this is going to be a great season for the Dolphins, for the men's team. They'll be able to move forward, and I think they pick up a pair of wins this weekend against York and Medgar Evers.
Yeah, so big game coming up against York here tonight. And the Dolphins, as you mentioned, Tom, just 4 goals in their last 6 games. And, on the road against a couple of pretty good opponents. And, right here against New Jersey City University, a team that we saw play very well here in the preseason opening tournament. And the Dolphins really played a very strong game against them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. New Jersey City University came in here and won the CSI Fall Classes for the second year in a row. But when it was time for the CSI to play New Jersey City University, they absolutely dominated every facet of that game and were able to come out with a nice win and earn us a win in the Bayonne Bridge series that goes on between Staten Island and New Jersey City University.
As the Dolphins look to press forward the attack, the Cougars a nice job to knock that ball away. And, you know, the Dolphins really very deep both offensively and defensively. And even in goal this year, they lose their Rookie of the Year goaltender this year. And they've really been getting great play in goal all season long.
Yeah, absolutely. All the way up from Ivan Barrera to Belin Barabas. You know, both of them have played very well in goal, with Ivan, you know, holding the edge 3-0. But also, the big issue with the Dolphins last season was they couldn't score. This season, that is not one of their issues. They have the nice pair of Brian Navarro and Joe Bilella coming in and scoring goals. I believe Navarro has 5 to his name this season, Bilella has 4. So scoring is not an issue this season for the Dolphins. It's going to be, can they keep goals off the board, which they have done so far this season. They're averaging less than 1 goal allowed per game. So if they can keep that up, I believe they'll be able to capture that elusive Cuniac title they've been searching for so long.
Boy, you talk about elusive, Tom. You couldn't be more right. And, you know, a lot of tests going to come up for this team, Tom, because they have 6 of their next 7 games on the road.
Yeah. They started their season off on a homestand, which is good because, you know, it allows your team to gain confidence. You're not moving far from home. Now this road trek is really going to show their true colors. If they come back here, you know, 7-0, 6-1 from this road trip, it's still going to keep their confidence high. Whereas if they come back, say, 3-4, which would knock down their high value of play.
And, you know, Tom, why the Dolphins men's team goes on the road, the women are going to have 4 consecutive home games. Their first one here this afternoon, but they have 3 other home games coming up here over the next week. Here comes a quick counterattack once again by the Cougars as they look to build on their 4-1 lead as that ball will roll out of bounds. And I believe it will be a free kick here for the Dolphins as we're inside of 15 minutes remaining in this game and the Dolphins trailing by a score of 4-1.
Yeah, and this homestand for the women is not going to come against easy competition. Like I said earlier in the pre-show, it's against Montclair, who's always ranked and going to the NCAA tournament, and NYU, who's just a perennial power in pretty much every sport they have. So it's going to be a true test here for the women's soccer team.
You know, and St. Joe's Brooklyn is a continuously improving program, so they should be a good challenge as well for the Dolphins, who, you know, started off the season strong. They've won their first 5 games, but had that 2-2 tie. We're going to have a whistle and a foul called on the Cougars. They had that 2-2 tie against CCNY, and then here coming out playing very well, but giving up that late first half goal and now trailing by a score of 4-1.
Yep, that late half first goal was really what did the Dolphins in. They came out in the second half, let in another goal, and then it's just a trickle effect after that. That second goal led to 2 more goals after that, and now the Dolphins sit here with 13 minutes left in the second half, down 4-1, all because of 1 late first half goal.
Nugent looking for possession of the ball. Parisi able to get the ball out over, and the Cougars looking to attack once again as that ball is going to be chipped forward by Mazukis, but right to Jones, and she's there to make the play. Mazakis looking to roll the ball forward, but Hunter's there to play it for the Dolphins. She was looking to get the ball up to Nugent, but Kays is there to play it now for the Cougars. So lots of substitutions, Tom, here for both teams in the final 13-18.
Yeah, you know, this is probably when the teams are going to start getting players in that normally don't see a lot of time because they feel the game may be out of reach at this point. So get some players some time, see what they can do, maybe earning themselves more time going forward. These are the type of games where you're going to really come off the bench and show what you really have.
As that ball's going to drift out of bounds out over the far sidelines, and a throw-in opportunity here for the Dolphins. Trailing by a score of 4-1. Dolphins in danger of dropping their first game in this 2017 season. As that ball is going to be knocked out of bounds off of DeLoya, so it's going to be another corner kick here for the Cougars.
Mike, let's hope that this game doesn't set a trend for the Dolphins, because as you know, they're coming off a tie, and now they're going to have a possible loss on their record here as well. So their first 5 started off 5-0, and then here just in this last 2, you have a tie and a loss. It's trending in the wrong direction, so hopefully they need to pick up and start moving in the correct direction.
As that corner is going to be played in toward the center of the box. Knocked away by Aparicio, but not out, as now DeLoya will come over and knock that ball out of bounds. As we're going to have a couple of substitutions here at the next opportunity for the Dolphins. But first, the Cougars will throw the ball in as Gillespie, who's checked into the game for the Cougars, to throw it in. Ball kept in play, but knocked away as Zappolo can't make the play on the ball for the Dolphins, and the Cougars look to attack once again as Borstead knocks the ball up the near sideline and gets the ball up over to Nugent. Nugent chipping the ball forward towards goal, but it'll be too far ahead of everybody, and McDonald will be there to make the play for the Cougars.
Again, resorting to the type of play that just hasn't been worked all day for the Dolphins. Kean needs to hold on to that ball, find better options, play with the ball a little bit in the midfield, get her team some touches, gain some confidence again going forward, instead of just kicking it forward and hoping that her teammate can get there.
Cougars playing the ball in midfield, but DiStefano is there to knock it up and sky it towards midfield. Mendez looking to get possession, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds over the far sideline, and it will be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. But first, we're going to have another couple of substitutions.
Diana Estrada enter for the Dolphins.
So Diana Estrada will check into the game along with Namerta Bracic. She'll replace Kiki Nugent as well as Hunter. So lots of substitutions, Tom, here for both sides. Looking at the shots, 17 shots for the Cougars, just 5 for the Dolphins here this afternoon. And Tom, at halftime, the Dolphins had 5 shots.
Yeah, they have not had a single shot here in this second half. And if this game ends with just 5 shots for the Dolphins, it'll be their lowest total of the season. Especially after coming off a 44-shot outing against CCNY. To dwindle down to just 5 shots.
Yeah, and you got to give the Cougars a lot of credit, Tom. They were able to score that goal late in the first half. And then, once you take a 1-goal lead in soccer, your first priority is shutting down the other team's offense. And you can't shut them down any better than no shots through the first 35 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. The head coach for Kean really made a nice adjustment. Saw what the Dolphins were doing well there in the second half that had the Dolphins winning the possession game. And then he came out, adjusted his team, and has done well. He has not allowed the Dolphins to have any sort of possession or a shot at that. So hats off to the coach for making the right adjustment there.
So the ball will go out of bounds, and it will be a free kick for the Dolphins as Aparicio will roll it up the near sidelines to DeLoya. DeLoya looking for somewhere to go, gets it up over to Zappolo. Zappolo rolling it back, and now Aparicio will sky it towards the Kean defense, but Abdu is there to play it away for the Cougars. Now another miscue by the Dolphins, and it's going to lead to an opportunity for the Cougars as that time Dengel was able to break in on goal, Tom, but Jones able to make the play. She really didn't get everything on the shot.
No, and that was Aparicio there that didn't allow her to get everything on that shot to prevent the 5th goal of the game. So Aparicio has been one of the bright spots here in this Dolphins defense today.
Mouzakis has the ball knocked away, and it's going to be played by Gillespie. Gillespie rolling the ball forward. She's looking to get the ball up over to Kays, but it's going to go out of bounds. And once again, it will be a throw-in here for the Cougars, who've started to dominate possession here in the second half. They have both second-half goals, and they lead by a score of 4-1.
Speaking of possession, Mike, in the first half you could argue it was 50-50. In the second half here, it's more 35-65 in favor of the Cougars.
Yeah, Cougars have done a nice job here in the second half as they look to play the ball forward as Kay's pass is going to be knocked away. And now Berth looks to play it forward, and now it's going to be DiStefano to knock it all the way up the far sideline. And Kean able to come away with possession once again as the clock continues to roll. 7:40 remaining. And now Parisi will knock it forward for the Cougars. Aparicio rolling it forward to Mendez. Now the Dolphins will look to attack once again as they get the ball up. That was to Estrada, who just checked into the game. But the Cougars are there to knock the ball away and sky the ball deep down the center of the field. Charging in is Mouzakis. And a nice play by Aparicio to shield her off the ball. And Jones is able to make the play for the Dolphins. Ball going to be stolen away in the midfield by the Cougars once again as they turn and shoot towards goal. And the Dolphins will be there to knock it away and play it out over the near sideline. And it's going to be knocked out of bounds, last touched by the Cougars. So it's going to be a free kick here for the Dolphins as the clock continues to roll. 6 minutes, 40 seconds remaining. And the Dolphins looking for offense here in the second half. Aparicio playing it forward, but the ball's going to be knocked away by Maychak. And now headed back by Berth for the Cougars. Dengel with the ball, but the Dolphins able to knock it away and feed it up to Estrada. But Estrada can't maintain possession, and now it'll go back to Abdu. Abdu feeding it out over to Kays. Kays' pass is going to be knocked away. And Menza Mendez forced to come back and play the ball defensively for the Dolphins, and she gets it up over to DiStefano. Now it's going to be Borstad in midfield, but she loses possession, but is able to come back and regain possession for the Dolphins. So the Dolphins try to attack with numbers, but once again the pass will go out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Cougars. As the clock continues to wind down, 5 minutes, 35 seconds remaining here in the second half. Ball's going to be played up in the air. And the Cougars, once again, will be able to come down with possession of it and sky it up high. Looking for Mouzakis, charging in once again. And Jones be able to make the play on the ball for the Dolphins.
You know, looking ahead, Mike, we have St. Joe's Brooklyn at home next. Last year, the Dolphins were able to beat them 9-0. So what will be nice is if they're able to win that game by a similar margin, it'll bring the confidence back to the team before heading into that much-anticipated game against Montclair State. Instead of heading into that game with, you know, a loss on your schedule and your heads down. At least if they're able to pick up that win, they'll be able to head in there with their heads up high and their confidence fully back.
Yeah, and you know that's a big game, as you mentioned, Tom, as the Dolphins will look to bounce back as they ball fed in front, and the Cougars able to put the ball in the net for their 5th goal of the game, and it's going to be a wide open goal on the play, Tom, as that time the Dolphins did not really provide any support defensively, and they now fall behind by a score of 5-1, as that's going to be Adriana Mouzakis picking up the goal for the Cougars.
Yeah, Mouzakis just positioned herself inside the box where she was wide open. Dolphins' back line was too spread out, which allowed that cross to come in and just find the open foot for an easy tap in for the 5th goal of the game. I mean, talk about falling apart here on defense. That has been the tale for the Dolphins this afternoon.
Yeah, so we have an opportunity as that ball was taken right down to the goal line and really an easy feed in front. And, you know, Tom, there were a couple of Dolphin defenders standing there, but you got to get right up on top of the player and close off the passing lane. And, you know, that time the Dolphins didn't do that, and they paid for it as they allow their 5th goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, the Dolphins back four just look strained at this point, allowing 5 goals. I'm not saying they're giving up or anything, but, you know, it's draining on your mental part of the game where it's like, can we get some help back here? Can anybody, you know, help us out, get us going here? But the Dolphins, with 3 minutes left, just need to make sure they don't allow a 6th goal, keep it together, keep it compact, and get out of here.
As the ball is going to be played in up the near sideline as DiStefano looks to head it, and Jones forced to come off a line once again, Tom, to make a nice play to prevent another scoring opportunity for the Cougars.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming out, making sure there's no balls bouncing around in the box this time and to clear out her line.
We should mention, Tom, our next broadcast will be this Saturday morning, as we will have Conference Women's volleyball action for you, as the CSI Dolphins will face Brooklyn College at the Sports and Recreation Center. Then we'll have Sunday's big non-conference on Monday for non-conference. Very tough to see the men up close against a very strong non-conference opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned they're very strong. Before I came out here to broadcast this game with you, I checked the NCAA rankings. Rutgers Newark is actually ranked 11th in the country right now with a nice record. And they've been slowly improving every single year under their head coach, Kevin East. And he's done a great job at preparing his team, getting in the right guys, and just picking up wins wherever they go. So Dolphins will come in with hopefully a very nice record to that point. And that'll be the biggest test thus far this season for them. If they're able to pick up a win or even a tie, I would consider that game a very big success and a true telling story of what we're to see from the Dolphins throughout the rest of the year.
So Maychak has her free kick shot stopped by Jones, and the Cougars continue to press forward. And with just over 90 seconds remaining here in the game, another corner kick opportunity here for the Cougars. So free kick coming up here on the corner for the Cougars. A nice corner all the way across. Berth with the shot from the far post. Jones able to get a hand on it, and the Dolphins able to knock the ball out of the penalty area. But the Cougars maintain the pressure, as that's Maychak with the ball on the near sideline. Maychak rolling it back to Galasco, but the Dolphins able to knock the ball away and out, as we're inside the final 40 seconds remaining here in the second half. Zapolo rolling the ball up on the near sideline, as Bracic able to play the ball momentarily, and now it's going to be Aparicio in the back for the Dolphins. Aparicio rolling it for Borstad, but coming forward is Berth to knock the ball away as the Cougars continue to attack here with just 20 seconds remaining. Zapolo in midfield, rolling it up into the center of the field, as it's Ambrose playing the ball as we're in the final 10 seconds. As Dolphins will knock the ball forward, and that's going to do it. As we hit the final buzzer, the Dolphins fell behind 1-0, Tom. We're able to come back and tie the game at 1, but Cougars able to take advantage of a late goal in the first half and really come out and dominate the second half and come away with a 5-1 win.
Yeah, this was a very good test for the Dolphins. You know, they fell short, but this is a wake-up call for them. They've been dominating everybody they've been playing thus far this season, so maybe they came in this game a little cocky, saying we're this good, blah, blah, blah. This really woke them up. Like, we just lost 5 to win this game, girls. We need to wake up. We need to come back better and stronger. We need to continue to progress. There's still things we need to work on. So that's up to head coach Giuseppe Panetti to find those things that need tweaking and get them better for the next game.
And, you know, Jones gave up 5 goals in this game, Tom, here this afternoon, but she really didn't play that poorly.
No, Jones played very well in the goal. It was her defense that really let her down today. They allowed the opposing team, the Kean, to really get wide open looks inside the box, which is unacceptable if you're a defender. You should really clear out those shots. So for Jones, she played a great game. She should not have her head down after this performance. She should keep it held high. She played well, and it's really working with the defense next time to really shore things up.
Yeah, so the Dolphins dropped this game by a final score of 5-1. And, you know, Tom, let's just give you the goal scores here really quick. Cerny scored the first goal in the 7th minute. Ashley Hunter tied the game up in the 27th minute. But it was Sabrina Passarella with her first 2 goals of the year, Tom. One of them late in the first half, the other one just over 5 minutes into the second half. That gave the Cougars that big 3-1 lead, and then Maychak and Mazukas score late. And really, the Mazukas goal and the Makas goals, a lot of open looks for the Cougars, Tom, late in the second half in the Dolphin penalty area.
Yeah, Taylor Houston really was able to pick apart the Dolphins' defense there at the end of the game, picking up two assists there. And the Dolphins going forward are just going to need to keep their heads up high. This was a good test for them, good team, nothing to be said about. They played well. Looking forward to the next game against St. Joe's Brooklyn. It's a winnable game, so hopefully they'll be able to pick up 3 points there.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, our next broadcast will be 10:45 on Saturday as women's volleyball in a tri-match against Brooklyn and William Patterson, the Brooklyn College game scheduled to be aired at 10:45, and then we'll be back with soccer here, Tom, both Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. That broadcast on Saturday will be part of a CSI Dolphins tri-match that hosts Brooklyn College and William Patterson. So it'll be a good test to see the Dolphins, improve upon their year. Another CUNYAC match against a tough team, and we'll see if they can pick up a win.
So that's going to wrap things up here from the CSI Soccer Complex. For Tom Kriskowski, I'm Mike Babuski saying so long. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to join us on Saturday morning for women's volleyball, and back on Sunday for women's soccer as the Dolphins now try to break their 2-game winless streak after winning their first 5 in a row. So have a great afternoon, everybody, and don't forget to get all the latest information about anything on CSI Sports. Go to csidolphins.com. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and we'll see you Saturday morning.